Well, good morning. Here it is. We're still in Arizona. That is correct, Arizona. I want to share something with you. Uh, Here on the property, that those of you that know, we have 24 acres here. This used to be, before we purchased it, it used to be a Christian camp. It was known as Desert Wells Christian Camp, and it was abandoned for several years, maybe 6 years or something like that. So the area was kind of destroyed, but there was three buildings. There was a house, they had a church, and then they had their kitchen area. The house is an older building. It's been here for quite a few years. Can't really go back to research as far as when it was built or anything, because we're in La Paz County, and before La Paz County, it used to be called Yuma County, and the records are transferred and a lot of that. So there's a lot of old information lost and destroyed. But looking at some blueprints once upon a time, I saw on there that up in the top corner it said Old Wells Fargo Stage Stop. So that's kind of what started everything, and it got me interested in stage stop. So I go out in the corner of the property, and sure enough, there's these two rock, that doesn't sound right, does it? Two rock walls, but that's all that's there. And it's just dirt foundation, and so I thought, that could be where it was. Later researching found out that from Vicksburg, which is almost 5 miles away from here, it says there's a book 4.7 miles southwest of Vicksburg on this route, which we're on Highway 60, which it was the old stage stop, was known as Desert Station, and then later changed to Desert Wells. So I think the blueprints must have just misprinted. It wasn't Wells Fargo, it was actually Desert Station or Desert Wells. But then later I heard that there was a gas station out there in the like the 40s and the 50s. There's a lot of gas stations through Highway 60 back in those days, all along this route, because this was the main route going into LA. And until they built I-10, then that kind of killed this route going into LA. So I went back out there again and started looking around, and sure enough, there's some foundations out there, some cement foundations. There's actually three of them. Then there's one further into towards the back of the foundations. So I started contacting some of the local historical societies and museums, and somebody sent me pictures of some gas stations. So I'm looking at the gas stations, and I'm basically looking at the mountain ranges behind the gas stations to try to piece this together where these are at. So I believe that those were the gas stations on here, but I thought it was in the 40s and the 50s. We've been doing a lot of metal detecting around the property, and a couple people have found these old tags. This one says 0 gallons on it, and this one says 10 gallons on it. So I started doing a lot of research, like maybe I thought they were signs that hung on the gas pumps or everything. It took me a long time to figure out where these were, but these actually went inside those old gas cylinders. And this would hang up and down. There would be 10 of them inside there, and what there would be is a crank, and they would crank it, and that would fill this cylinder full of gas, and then they drain it into their car. These were out in the 1920s and 1930s. So that means that what I thought was in the 40s or 50s actually could have been back into the 30s. So we found two of them so far, which is actually pretty cool on the property there. And just doing a lot of metal detecting out there, we found a lot of evidence that there definitely was a gas station out there, from old valve stems to license plates to car parts to you name it out there. We found it. Other people's been out here metal detecting, and they found some really cool stuff. Somebody found this one time, and at first I thought it was just like a piece of a license plate cut off. But then in further researching, how we have nowadays, we have a little sticker we put up in on a corner of our license plate. Back in those days, they had these tags that it would clip on to the license plate and screw on. This says 51, and then it's got a number on it. So I started researching all of this type of stuff to see what state, had this type of a design. And the only two states I've seen that had this type of, with the hole and the number up here, was Arizona and New Mexico. So I'm going to believe this was either Arizona or New Mexico. But when you renewed your license, they'd give you this, and you just put that on your plate. And that says 1951. There's been a lot of other, stuff that we have found out on the property, somebody found this cool, this is a chauffeur's badge. This says State of Arizona 1948, and it even has a number on it. So I'm assuming, you know, they stopped for gas, and, you know, whoever was the chauffeur would have this badge pinned on them, and, you know, they fell off them and lost it. So that was out there. What's the other stuff? You know, and then there's been stuff like tokens found. This here is a 1/5 cent sales tax token. This one's from Colorado. And this was, I can't really read this one, but this was from Oklahoma. We found a few Arizona sales tax tokens. There's some that say 1 on them and one that says a 5 on them. We found a few of them around here, sales tax tokens. Then we started finding a lot of out front. I found a powder horn, part of a powder horn, quite a few months ago, and at first I didn't know what it was, but a few people started helping me out what it was. It was a powder horn. Now, what was a powder horn doing out here? Then we started finding these musket balls. Now, I know people back in the East during the Civil Wars and stuff, they get a lot of these type of things, but we don't have these out here. So what are these musket balls doing out here? Now, here's one that's, you know, still intact. Here's some that's been fired. Found a few of these. You can see where it's hit, and then it's kind of mushroomed out. But there's been a few of these that we've been finding around here. Now, I do know that back in whatever day it was, 1861, 1862, Arizona did have a civil war when Arizona was part of, you know, northern New Mexico and southern Arizona. They had this war out here, so I don't know if that has to do with that. But I guess that was the only really firearms that they've had. There's been we've been finding a lot of these. These are shells, spent cartridges. But the funny thing is, whenever we find a lot of these, some of these are really old. You can tell they're really, really old. They're all bent. They're crimped. Later, we learned that the reason that they got crimped is after they shot them, they would smash them so that the Indians couldn't get them and reuse them. Now, you got to remember, this was a very hostile region back in those, you know, days between the miners and the Indians, and so there was probably all types of fighting going on and all types of stuff. We've been finding a lot of these old shotgun shells. I mean, some of them say like Peters on them. Doing research, I've been just looking at some of these. Some of these were clear back into the 30s and the 40s. So, but a lot of these old shotgun shells, Monarch, something like that. But find a lot of them out there. We find, you know, some tokens, let's say tax tokens and other types. Somebody found this really cool token that had the swastika on it. Now, back before, you know, Germany took over, that swastika was kind of known as good luck, and they had this, they were called good luck tokens. And this was out of L.A., out of a clothing store, Klein clothing store in L.A., and it was good for like, I don't know, $15 off or something like that. But he found this token out there, so that was actually pretty cool. And, you know, other kind of bullets have been finding out there. Some of these are so old. I mean, this one here, I thought I saw one of these said like 30, see, all baits. Anyways, I need a loop to look at some of these here, but a lot of cool things. And then going forward, you know, looking at other stuff, people's found like, you know, buckles, and we found these skate keys out there. There's been all types of stuff found. Let's see, we've been finding, I found a few of these. These are square nails. Now we know the square nails were used back around the 1800s. So the square nails. Now, further on the property, also in researching, there was an old ranch house here, and it was owned by a couple of English guys. And on this route, as they were taking off, you know, along this main route, they would stop here to water their horses, and they had this ranch house here. We found an old well. The well ain't there no more, or it's just the foundation. So it's a big, heavy-duty frame foundation. The big tank that would have been up on top is long gone. But the old well is still there, and supposedly they dug that down 120 foot. It's got part of the cast iron pump is still there. So we know that that part was there. We found a few of these horseshoes around. This one here is only half of one, but we found a few of these out and about, and those are scattered all over. Car parts, like I say, a lot of these keys, these are on the old cans that they'd open up their cans with. We have found into the back some cans that have that solder lid on them, and those, you know, of course, were back around the 1800s as well. Somebody found this here out there one time. They thought it was an old hat, like a sombrero hat or something like that there. So it's made out of copper. And as I started researching this here, looking for hats, this was an ashtray. They just set their cigarettes up on here or something like that. Found a lot of hinges, a lot of old wood that's buried. There's evidence that some of that stuff you unearth, get down about a foot, has been burnt, so we know they've caught fire. But here's something else I found one time out there. I found this old cool little car out at the gas station area where the gas station was. There's no markings or nothing on there, so I don't know, you know, what that was. But like buckles and, you know, all types of cool stuff. Found a flask, just a regular, you know, drinking flask. It was a pretty old out there. A lot of cool stuff. And there's been, well, one of the fields we have here, said this is 24 acres, so we took about 4 acres, 5 acres of this property, and we've set it aside. We do our metal detecting hunts on, monthly metal detecting hunts. We did our first one I think it was last October. So we planted 5,000 coins. We planted over 500 in silver dimes. I mean, silver, you know, quarters, dimes, 50-cent pieces all over out there. And prizes. And still to this date, so we've had 6 hunts out there total. 6 months. So still to this date, people are going out there and finding stuff. And every month we just keep planting more stuff. So every now and then, now that I'm bored, I go out there and I look for silver. So I have found, like, I found 4 silver quarters. And I have found 2 dimes. One of the silver quarters I found, though, was a 1906 barber. Now, I don't remember planting any barber coins out there. A while back, AMRA, the American Mining Rights Association, they had an event out on the property. We cleared off another piece of area for them, and they had a metal detecting hunt there. And they planted a bunch of barber dimes, and somebody found I think it was a 1933 50-cent piece that they didn't plant. He also found a quarter out there. So there's been a lot of other stuff being found out there. This property is untouched. We don't know what's on this property. The more we metal detect, the more it seems like we start to unearth, and the more mysteries we start to find. I was detecting out there one day, and I uncovered this big plate. I didn't know what it was, but I started digging it up, and then I found a pipe. And later on found out it was like an old cistern, you know, kind of like a septic. So there had to be a house someplace around that area too. In another part of the field I started detecting, I pulled up this old water pipe. Now, why would a water pipe be out there, and where was the source they were getting their water from? So maybe there was another well someplace else close by too. I was out in the metal detecting field a few days ago, and I uncovered another big pipe. I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm going to go explore next, is uncover this pipe and see what that's all about. So anyways, we just have a lot of history on this property. We bought it, changed it, it became Gold Fever Adventures Campground. We've only got 4 full hookups right now, 50 amp services, and then we've got 2 30 amps water and electric only. We're looking to put in another 12 full 50 amp services, and we're just going to continue to grow. So it'll take us a while to get up and growing, but we are a gold mining camp. It's located right on the highway, right, the US 60, Highway 60, right off the highway. We have mining claims. The closest mining claims we have here about 6 miles away. We have 6 claims, and they're about 6 to 8 miles away from here. So people generally go out there, get some dirt. They'll bring it back here and maybe process it, pan it. We have high banker ponds. We have gold panning stations. We have equipment, all that type of stuff here. So people go get the equipment, come back here, and just kind of camp and hang out. But anyways, there's a lot of history on this property. We're excited to see what we unearth next. And in the back 40, what we call it, we haven't even touched back there. Still a lot of cleaning up to do back there. There's a bunch of stacked wood, old timbers. We don't know where all that came from. or where, you know, what that was around. There's probably a lot of critters back in there too, so we're kind of scared to get back in there. A lot of overbrush, a lot of trees. We did unearth big pieces of canvas, that like old army canvas stuff that had the rivets around in them, so we don't know if there was some type of encampment back there or what. But we are next to what they call the wash. There's a big wash next to us known as Bouse Wash. And clear back then, if that was kind of the water source, that would make sense why they're kind of up on this end of the embankment. But anyways, it's been a lot of fun out here detecting stuff. And like I said, I'm going to go out there and see what this big piece of pipe is that we unearthed. So if you guys want to stop by, come on by. We will have another metal detecting hunt. We're going to have a outing here around the July 4th weekend. We'll probably do a metal detecting hunt the evening, July 3rd maybe, or July 4th. We don't know whatever days those fall on yet. And then we'll do a morning hunt. We'll cook up a couple of meals, but it's just another chance for us to get together. Maybe we'll shoot off some fireworks, some boomers, and all that type of stuff, but have a good time. So anyways, you guys all have fun, and let's go see what I found out there. Well, this here is the metal detecting field. Probably just under, I don't know how, 4 or 5 acres, I'm going to say. But you can see where people have been digging targets all over out here. All over out here. And then you dig up your, you know, your trash, your cans. They're still here. But we are right on the highway. You can see the car zooming on by here. But what I was telling you, what I found the other day was this right here. It sounds like it's kind of not a pipe. Maybe it's like a big can or something, but pretty big in size. Goes all the way back there, all the way over there, and all the way over there. But this is what I'm going to unearth. So let's get this dug up. Looking like an old piece of tin. Not that old strong box or something that I kind of thought. Big ass piece of tin. Wow, maybe part of an old roof or part of an old door. Well, it's not what I thought it was, but hey, you guys got to watch me dig that up there. But let's go look at some of the other parts of the property. I'll go show you that stuff over there. Because here's the area where gas station and all that used to be. There's the highway again right there. There's parts of the old highway. You can see the tar roads right here. See the foundation right here? There's a foundation right here. And it goes back here a ways. Here was the old water pipe that I dug up. That was right there, and that continues on there. So I've got to follow this back to see where that's going to. So you got a foundation here. Got another foundation right there. And someplace out here, we unearthed a big round pipe like. And looking at the pictures, we thought that maybe that's where their flagpole was. But then I've been bringing the dozer out here and the backhoe and scraping this down some so we can detect further down. There's a lot of trash out here still. Lots of trash. There's still See some of the old pipes, like from whether sewer or water or something. And you come over here, and there's another under-earth pipe right there. There's another foundation here. It looks like this is probably where the door was right there. You can see where you'd walk in. And they built this. Here's where the old stage stop was. All there was the rock walls. And they go over there. And then they're over here, and it goes over there. And our property only goes right there to the fence. But this part goes beyond the property. So they probably would have had wood or something up on top of that there. There's no, just dirt there, no cement. And then this was built on top of it. And then back there on the other side of the trees, there's another foundation, and there's a whole bunch more stuff been finding back there, hinges and parts of old wood and stuff like that. But a lot of treasures right here. This is where we've been finding some cool stuff right here. A lot of the tax tokens and stuff were found right in this area, because this would have been, of course, you know, if they pull off the highway to get their gas. And there's another pipe right here running. If we start following some of these pipes, we may find more evidence of what the hell was going on around here. But let's go continue to look around, see what else is around here. There's some of the stockpiles of trash that we've dug up. This here looks like an old valve stem of some sort, like heavy duty. All types of bottles. There may have been a gauge on an automobile or something. This looks like one of them oil pumps or something, maybe, you know, where you put oil in. Grease guns, maybe. Brakes. How about parts of old brakes or something? We just got there's some batteries. But just buckets full of the trash that we've been pulling up around here. There's the back side of where we just were. There's the other foundation right here. And this is where I've been finding a lot of other trash at. This is where I found the skate keys at. But just buckets full of trash here. Found a part of like a chest, you know, the hinge, the strap that goes all the way along the side of it with the hinges on it. Over there. And here's some of the pieces of wood like this that you get under earth. But just no telling what's all still around this area that haven't even touched yet. But this here's all the cement foundation. So this is where the other building would have been. This may have been like a storage shed or something. There's some nice little trees growing here, mesquite trees. We'll have to maybe one day get a picnic table set out here. You come out, set up underneath the mesquite trees. A lot of, and these are little old cans, not sure what these were, you know, lids to something. Well, some pieces of trash here that people's dug out. Old lids. Find a lot of these that still have the cork in them. Screen. This tells me this is probably part of maybe the window or the screen door. And this may have been part of all that door. No telling what's underground here. Got our electrical put in a while back, and we're waiting for the panel to come so we can put in 400 amp service is what we're going to put in and run that over to this here. We do have a caretaker on property. This here is the old house. I wonder if this wasn't part of the old ranch house too, once upon a time. Possible. This here is our clubhouse. This used to be their old church. It's now what we've converted into the clubhouse. And this here was the old building for where they served their meals out of their kitchen area. And there is tons of room out here for dry campers. Tons and tons of room. Here's the old well. What's left of it. One day I have to get another water tank and put it up on top up there too. That would look cool just to restore it. But here's what's left. And there's the well right there. You gotta watch when you walk over here for critters and stuff. But I vacuumed it out. And there's what's left of probably the old rocker they had here. And then once upon a time, they probably even converted it and put your windmill on here too. But that's all been cut off and disconnected. But that's that right there. Detected around here a lot of metal shards and just, you know, picked up crap everywhere here. Just stuff all over out here. Metal detecting. Here's our high banker pond. Now when we started digging this out, we found a lot of trash, tin cans and garbage and bottles and stuff, so they were using this as dump. It didn't look like it was an old dump. These are our whales. We have two 10,000 gallon tanks, and what we do is just open the valve and fill the pond full of water. Set the high bankers all up around here when we're having events and high bankers. I'll show you up here too. You can go up on the balcony up above if you want to go up there and check out the stars or the sun or whatever. This is the water tank bar and grill right here. This is Liar's Corner. Have the fireplace sitting out here and sit around there in a nice winter time making fires. This is known as our cooking area, where we do all of our cooking at right here. Got all types of grills and smokers, and we sit out here and watch Super Bowl. If you've never been in the clubhouse, let me take you in there. First come in, you'll see the wall. This is what we call memory wall. Got pictures way back, way back. There's the women's restrooms in there. There's bathrooms and showers. And there's the men's restrooms, bathrooms and showers. This here's where we do our meetings at, events, get-togethers, do bingo here. Of course, summertime now, so nothing's going on. We got some other rooms here. This is just kind of the entertainment room. We got the TV and coffee pots and pizza ovens and pool table, dart machines and slot machines, and a lot more, you know, decorations and stuff like that there. This room over here is locked, but I'm building this room up. This is going to be my town room, putting doors and stuff all over the place over there, but this is this. So this was their church, but it's just now our clubhouse. And there's some more cool license plates. Arizona in 1940, that was found out there, and California in 1956. But see this here, like right here, what I was showing you earlier, where these holes are, this is where you'd put that tag of the new year every year. And of course, this building is just our storage building. We keep all of our equipment and supplies and stuff like that in there. There's a fence here. This is just basically a cattle fence because Arizona's open range, so the cows can come all the way up to here. But we go way back another, what do you say, the back 40. Oh, there's a big lizard right there. Look at that, man. Man, that's a good-sized lizard there, huh? Sweet. I'd like to zoom in on him, huh? Pretty, ain't it? Arizona lizard. Out looking for some meals. Anyway, this was the field we cleared off for the amber hunt that they planted back there. So got all these trees overgrown here that we can still get rid of one day, so we can still hunt all this area. There's a guy who likes to come out here. He likes to stay in a tent, camp out here. We got a nice shady little overgrowth right here. He found a bunch of license plates out here. It's where we found an old truck door out here. Found some cart wheels out here. A lot of the tin cans with the soldering on them further over there. There's some fence posts over there, maybe from the old time fence post, which still need to be detected, because you know what they say, you hid stuff around those old fence posts. You know, stuff with the wire, the bob wire, those are new with your T-post and that, but your old ones are back over there. And stay in there. This is the old house, and inside there's the office in there. We have a little store in there. This area here is the panning station, where you can come up. It's nice shade. You can do some panning if you want. Fill it full of water. A lot of gold pans around. When you first come into camp, you're greeted with the gold pan and the old mine shaft. That's Willie back there. He's Willie old. plate. We have floods that come through here. This probably got washed in. This looks like this says to me that says CAL 25. California 25. Wow, that's pretty old, huh? Is that what you guys see out of that? You see CAL 25. California 25. California 25. Huh. And down at the bottom down there is where they would have put the tag at. Yes, down here. There's where the tags would go, so it would clip there and there. And there's where the date would kind of replace that. Well, this is our campground. And this here was the other room that I said I was going to convert into my kind of like a town room. So I'll have like an assay office and the bank and a hotel and all that type of stuff there. Gold Fever Adventure. And then a lot of decor to put up all over the place. A lot of old wood, old signs. Oh, here's a bunch more old license plates. 1939, that's Arizona, California. 30, what does that say, 38. That's C2, does that mean chauffeurs maybe? 55, California, there's where the tags would go, 55 right there, so you replace. Anyway, a bunch of old plates, these have all been found all over out here. So this was one of my projects I got to work on this summer. That's in front of the clubhouse, but there's the old truck door. And I kind of researched it. It had this old lock on it. You see, it used to be green, it looks like. It's upon time. Don't know what that came off of. This was on an old mine classifier. Oh, you know what's over here? This here was part of a dynamite door. There's heavy duty. Man, it takes 14 people to lift that piece of that door up there. And, this is the front of the building, though. Well, as you can see, a lot of history around here. A lot we haven't even touched yet. We're just experimenting and playing along as we go. So, hey, come on by, come on out and be a part of Gold Fever Adventures Campground. Hey, you guys all take care. Thanks for coming along. Till next time.